Today's episode, we're going to be talking about Ferrari finally releasing the new F80. We're also going to go into the new GT3 facelift that's just been announced. And we're going to be delving into what is the best supercar to get into for under £1,000 per month. Stay tuned. Hello and welcome to episode 39 of the GVE London Podcast. And today I'm joined by George and Andreas, and we're talking all things supercars. So let's get on to the F80 that was just released the other day. And I know we've spoken about it a lot over the last few days, but finally it was unveiled.
Released.
They've shown the pictures, they've shown the car, they've shown it going around the track now as well, right?
Yes.
So what's your views?
Okay, so obviously this whole thing about V12 versus V6. So how can your V6, how can your hypercar, how can Ferrari's hypercar lose their heritage of being a V12 down to a V6? But one of their most successful cars they've made, or their most successful racing cars they've made, is the Le Mans racing car, which is based on a V6 twin turbo and as a hybrid engine as well, right?
Yep.
Why not then bring that to the road? Okay, you may not have the wow factor of a V12, it may not have the sound of a V12, but ultimately the goal is to make one of the quickest cars for Ferrari. I mean, that's what you look at all these hypercars, and you look at the last holy grail and you see which one was the quickest out of the three of them, and surely that's the most valuable one. Ferrari at the moment have probably smashed it with their strategy, thinking that the 296 based on a V6 is probably one of the best track cars out there at the moment. Why not amplify that and turn their hypercar into something similar? Okay, you're lacking the noise, you're lacking the drama, but it is going to be one of the quickest hypercars out on the road.
Yeah, see, I disagree with that. I personally think it's, after hearing it, when I go around the track and how quiet it was, I think that's going to deter a lot of people. You see a lot of people in the comments going, where's the V12, where's the V12? I just think, yes, you know, but Ferrari, the sound is just so important, you know, and yeah, performance, absolutely. It's going to have performance, no doubt about that. It's going to be monstrously fast, but I just think lacking that V12 is such a big miss, or that noise, you know, and it's so important for the bloodline of these cars to have an important engine like a V12, you know. Yes, it dates back to the V8s, the 288s and the F40s and stuff, but that was what made those cars so special.
So what we do know is that all these manufacturers have to keep an average CO2 gram per kilometer for their cars, for all the entire fleet of their cars, right? And so just to put it in context, the Enzo created 545 grams of CO2 per kilometer, right? And the target...
That's how it should be.
Yeah, but the new average that the manufacturers have to attain is 95 grams per kilometer.
That is crazy. So more than a fifth of what the Enzo is doing.
That's just crazy, right? But in terms of speed, right, you're spending a lot of money. A lot of money. Do we know what the list price is at the moment?
3 million.
3 million pounds or euros?
3 million pounds.
So 3 million
options.
Before options, yeah.
Wow.
That's crazy. So realistically, at least 3.5 after options, right?
Yeah.
So you're spending 3.5 mil pounds on the new F80, but what kind of performance difference is there when you buy an SF90 for 350 grand, right?
The performance is obviously going to be noted when you're tracking the car. On the roads, or especially on the UK roads, you're never really going to be able to see the difference. However, it's more than just the performance in these cars. It's the actual feel that it gives you. People buy these hypercars, and very rarely, I mean, you guys tell me, how many times do you see a hypercar on the track? How many times do you see a hypercar racing another hypercar? Very rarely.
I got a funny story about that, actually. When I was doing the Caterham Academy, and I went down to Silverstone, and I was just practicing for the final event of the Academy season. And so I'm in this little Caterham 7, and suddenly I see this green thing in the side mirror coming up behind me, and you could hear it, and it was a LaFerrari.
JK.
And it was JK. From Jamiroquai. Yeah, that was crazy. I don't know, you guys are a little bit younger than me, but do you remember Cosmic Girl?
Yeah.
Oh man, what a song, right? And that video is just amazing.
The Diablo VT and the Ferrari.
Was that the purple?
The purple one.
The purple one, okay.
Yeah. And the driving through the mountains and stuff like that. SF90, you can actually pick that up for around 290, right?
Yeah, if you shop hard enough, you can,
Yeah. So So now you've got a F80, 3.5, SF90, 290. So more than 10 times the value of an SF90, right?
True.
Point.
And what I want to come to is SF90 gives you 1,000 brake horse.
Yeah.
That's crazy, by the way. For that money to get 1,000 brake horsepower is just nuts.
I know where you're going with this,
But 0 to 62 miles per hour in 2.5 seconds.
Yeah.
How much faster is the F80 than that?
It won't be much faster, but then
0.3.
Okay. But you don't do it for the top speed. You don't do it for the performance. You do it for the feel that it gives you. The fact that you feel like you're sitting in a £3.5 million car that's probably going to be valued at £5 million while they're driving it.
Yeah, on that though, what do you guys think of the looks?
I actually quite like it. I think I'm now becoming accustomed to the car manufacturers changing their looks as every 5 or 6 years go by. And you start thinking, oh my God, I was so used to that 458 look with those sleek lights and the round circular lights in the back. And then suddenly you jump to the F8 and it's like, okay, this is looking a bit weird. And then the SF90 is like, what have they done to their design? But now you start appreciating it, saying that they have to modernize, it has to change. I quite like what they've done. In fact, I like what Ferrari have done with the F80 more than what McLaren have done with the W1. I think the Ferrari have made it a bit more elegant than what McLaren have done.
I think the front of it, I think that if that black strip, I'm not a big fan of. I think if that was the same color as the car, which I've seen a few renders of people doing, I think you can spec it with that doing the same color. It looks much better in my opinion.
Why are they doing that? Because it's like the Daytona stuff. So they're trying to bring back on the V12 cylinder. He's got the same thing
Correct.
going.
Yeah, they're doing it back to the
I don't get why would they
Daytonas.
bring that on their hypercar. Yeah. But then just touching on that point as well, what do you think the Area Latin, which is up for sale at £70,000, does 0 to 60 in?
Yeah, no, but that's not like for like, George. Look,
But then the SF90 and the F8's not like for like.
but it is because the SF90 still gives you that super / hypercar feel, right? And fine, it's not. It doesn't have the same presence as a F80 or, your other hypercars, but still, you're going to have pretty much the same technology, pretty much the same speed. Around the track is not going to be that much slower, but you've got another 3.2 mil to play with.
Okay, the reason that I'd probably say
I would
that's
buy a
not
whole
so true.
garage of different cars with that money.
But if you've got 3 odd million to go and spend on a car, you're going to have another 10, 15 million just sat on the side. You can do whatever you want with it. The person who would go and spend 3 to 5 million pounds on a Ferrari hypercar is someone who wants to have that privilege of owning something so unique, one of 799 in the world, one car that you just can't go to Ferrari and buy. You have to have 20 years buying experience at least. And like you are now within this very inner circle of Ferrari that you have one of their most special cars. The SF90 doesn't do that for you. Yes, it does the driving experience. It has the supercar feel. It has even, like you say, maybe the hypercar feel with the speed of it. But this brings it back to that discussion we were having the other day, that I don't think a hypercar is based on performance alone. It's definitely down to the price. It's definitely down to the aerodynamics and the looks of it. And it's definitely down to how rare the car is. So I think more of a fair comparison would probably be the SF90 XX to the F80. But with the SF90 XX going for like 700, 600,000 pounds over list, can you imagine what the F80s are going to be doing over list?
But I was going to ask, what do you think? Do you think that these things will achieve the kind of premiums that LaFerrari saw in the past and so, maybe like the SP3 Monza, all of those kind of things? So
I think if we base it on the LaFerrari, because this is the replacement for the LAF now, the SP3 Monzas, by the way, are doing about at least 500, 600,000 pounds over list, and that's not their flagship hypercar.
No.
So if we base it on the LaFerrari, when those were released, they were doing 500,000 to 600,000 over list, and now you look at the market, the cheapest LaFerrari coupe is edging towards £4 million, and that's list price on those cars are 1.2.
Yeah, nearly 4 times its list.
Exactly, and they're actually selling for that as well. It's not a case where they're thinking, okay, that's just overpriced, that's way too expensive. If you can buy a LaFerrari for 3.5, 3.6 million pounds at the moment, you're laughing.
Are you serious? A coupe?
I think that's the cheapest they're ever going to be.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
We've had options to buy some.
Well, we've walked away from buying them at 1.7, 1.8. So
Can we end the podcast now?
No, but then that's the same thing for everything. If you look at it in terms of the investment, you could have bought an SVJ. We bought an SVJ for £280,000.
280. We did.
If that had that same mileage that we've got in it now, I'd be selling for £500,000. You're doubling the money with such a small investment.
In 3 years.
Crazy. Okay, so let's move on to another big car that just got released. The Porsche 911 GT3.
Yes.
GT3, which I told you is going to be NA, George.
Yeah, I have to admit it. I thought with the 992 Gen 2 GTS being a hybrid, that maybe is this a sign that their new GT range is now going to go hybrid. So they were talking about it, and there is still a chance that the GT2 RS or the RS versions, when they get released, they could be hybrids. So
Essentially.
the GT3, I think the most exciting thing about this getting released, and this is something that I'm really excited about as well, because our customers are dying for this, is the 4-seater touring.
Yeah.
They're now doing a GT3 touring with 4 seats in it. So I always thought you'd want a touring, and it's comfortable, but it's got the rev range of a GT3. It's got the excitement and the drama of driving a GT3, but it's still not usable. You don't have the seats in the back. It's not a Carrera. It's still a GT3 with 2 seats and very tough. I mean, this probably has to be one of the most in-demand GT cars that Porsche would have made. In my opinion, that's my opinion going forward. I think the GT3 touring with 4 seats in it is going to be hugely sought after.
But do you not find that the space in the back is so limited that what's the point in having the seats in the back anyway?
It will be the exact same as a normal Carrera. It'll be the exact same as a normal Carrera or a Turbo. And people will go and buy a Carrera or a Turbo because it's such a usable everyday sports car. Now you're finally getting yourself a usable everyday track car. That is... Who would have thought that's even possible? So Porsche have definitely done some amazing things there.
But okay, back onto the GT3 though, is the facelift of this gen's a GT3, right?
Yeah.
And typically you'd like to think that they've amended quite a few things, but
No, this is Porsche we're talking about here. Come on.
But no, I get it on the looks wise, agreed, but
So
no
minimal.
power output increases.
Yeah.
Same 4-litre NA flat 6 engine, but the only slight tweaks are that there's a new infotainment system with a larger touchscreen, and then small tweaks to the rear wing and before enhanced downforce. So what's your views on that?
That's typical Porsche, isn't it? You know, they don't tweak much, but somehow it would have the same output of power, but it would be quicker around the Nürburgring by 5 or 6 seconds. This is amazing. It amazes me with Porsche all the time how they don't tweak the engine. It's all about the aerodynamics, and they just make it faster. And that's what will be incredible. You watch, it'll come out and be quicker.
So are you saying they've done nothing to the engine whatsoever? Not even changed the mapping of the gearbox, not changed any of the ECUs, nothing?
According to
they could have kept the engine exactly the same, but they could have done other stuff that would have made the car slightly
Maybe they've not
quicker.
disclosed it, but why would you not disclose it? At the end of the day, you want to sell. But then
Are
again,
they hiding the emissions? Because Porsche
doubt
did
it,
say
but-
that it was very, very tough for them. I read a statement, and he said it was very tough for them to keep this naturally aspirated without putting any hybrid assistance in there.
Yeah.
But he just wanted to get a final push out while he could.
Really?
And as many of these as he can before everything has to go hybrid.
that's crazy.
So I'm pretty sure there might be something a bit dodgy going on there where he might be having to hide some stats. Because is that a fact that it's going around the lap 5 seconds quicker? Or
I don't know how long. I don't know how much quicker
But
it is.
it was quicker.
But historically, always the GT products, they only have like a slight increase of power or the same, and they're just same. They're quicker around the track.
So do you know what's quite impressive is the pricing. The Gen 1 GT3 992 list price was £129,000 starting without any options, right? And this now will be 135.7.
That's not a bad increase.
It's not bad, right?
Yeah.
When you compare it to what other manufacturers have been doing, they've actually kept it really reasonable.
I think Porsche are really dropping the ball there. They need to jump on the same bandwagon that everyone else is.
But why?
Because their cars are getting flipped left, right and centre. I think, okay, they're very respected for the fact that they always have more demand than they can supply. They always have that. Maybe they're thinking, if we up the price the same way all our competitors are doing, like Ferrari and Lambo, are we still going to have that demand? So
I reckon they could easily go up another 30,000 and people would still be going there all day long.
Proof is in the pudding. You look on the market, when the 992 came out, the GT3, we were selling them for £250,000, £260,000 when they just came out.
Yeah.
So,
But surely in today's market, that same thing wouldn't apply, right? Like that 30 to 40,000 pounds premium on something like that would probably be more realistic.
So at the moment, a GT3 992 with, let's say, 1,500 to 2,000 miles on it, good spec, is going for roughly 10 to 20,000 over list with limited miles.
Still.
Yeah. So I would say a brand new car that you can spec yourself, buy and
50.
do whatever you want with it, at least 50. At least 50.
There you have it, £50,000 to get yourself into a new facelift GT3,
But
which has virtually no upgrades.
That is speculating, and we are buying these facelift GT3s. So if there are anyone offering,
and we're buying them for £5,000.
Yeah, they're like list price. Speculating at 50 grand. We don't know if it's going to happen, but
yeah. We take it back. It's not 50 anymore. It's 10. It's 10 grand. Okay, fine. These things will be going for premiums. But what's it going to do to the current GT3 market?
Well, there's a few on the market. There's like 71 on the market now.
Wow.
That's a big number of GT3s.
Big number,
but it's also
right?
time of the year. It's October, end of summer now. So these cars tend to sit. So, but at the same time, that is a big number of cars to choose from,
Does that show that they've made a lot more 992 GT3s than they made 991s?
Yes.
Because I don't think I've ever seen 70 or 80 991 GT3s
That's
or 991 Gen
crazy.
2 GT3s.
And we've been selling them for a bloody long time.
Definitely ramping up the production. Same with the GT3 RSs. That's why they've plummeted now, because there's a lot more coming through, and they're just, again, supply and demand. Now they're given the supply.
So the average retail price of a Gen 1 GT3 992 is sitting at what?
Well, cheapest one on the market now is about 145.
145. And and the list price on that would have been?
Well, depending on options.
Oh, it would have been similar. 130
Yeah, 130 plus
right?
options. So yeah, about 145, 150.
But that is testament to how strong they hold their value.
Yeah.
Right?
Once again, it's the whole supply and demand thing. It's so hard to get a hold of a GT3. Even on the used market, you're having to spend big money. This one you've seen at 145, I'm guessing it's got the best part of 10,000 miles in it. It's
a
pretty
bit high
leggy.
mileage. Yeah.
Okay, guys, so on this segment, you guys have gone away and you've selected a car that you can get for under £1,000 per month on finance with £15,000 down, right? Yep. So you've chosen your ideal car for that budget. So let's start with you, George. You've gone for a...
I think it's a no-brainer. It's a R8 V10 Plus.
Yeah. And why would you go for that?
We're talking about one of the best sounding cars with like V10s coming to a halt. There's no more on the market, no more in production. You put an R8 V10 Plus alongside a Lamborghini Huracan and they both drive pretty much the same. They sound the same. It is pretty much the same car and it's usable. You can daily an R8 V10 Plus. I just think for that much money, it is a no-brainer. I don't know what else you can get within that budget.
So we've got an example quote for £868 per month.
Yep.
That's pretty good value.
Yeah.
That's crazy good value, isn't it?
It is. It is to think for under £1,000, and this car would have set you back 130, 140 when they were new. They were going for overs.
Unbelievable.
You look on the market now to get a new example of that. The latest, they wouldn't do a Plus now, but they do the Performance Plus. They do the Performance. Those are going for 120, the best part of 120 still.
Wow.
Brand new ones and stuff.
And yourself?
I would probably choose the McLaren 570S track pack that's just come in.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit more unique than a regular 570. So the track pack gives you the bucket seats, slightly extended rear spoiler, lightweight wheels, so I think, and it's obviously in McLaren orange as well, the best color, the doors go up, I think, is in terms of the drama, what you get, that's why obviously I own an R8, but the difference between, I think, the McLaren is that it gives you more drama compared to the R8, so you put them next to each other, the people will look at the McLaren more than they'll look at the R8, so I think that's another very good choice for someone that wants to spend 15 grand as a deposit under £800 a month. I think that's great value. That's
very good value at £798 per month. I would probably go for, out of the two, I'd go for that R8. I just like peace of mind, which is a win-win situation because you love your R8s, right? But I
would also go for the R8.
Was it because I chose the R8 first? That's why you think of something else.
No, I just don't want the headache.
Yeah.
I just like your German engineering, just peace of mind.
But then again, I have to say, if it wasn't a daily car,
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I wasn't
100%.
given that choice. If it's your special car, then it'll be a McLaren.
Yes.
If it's like something you're
agree.
driving once a week and you want a special car, that is good value.
Yeah, I'd want a daily. So
As a daily, it'd
probably
have to be
go
the
for the
R8,
R8.
yeah.
100%. Okay, guys. So on this segment, I want to do something quite unusual. I want to each week decide what is the best value supercar out on the market at any given time within a specific price range, right? And so for this episode, let's go for the 100 to 125,000 mark. What in your mind is the best supercar out there at the moment?
Being put on the spot at the moment, but
And by the way, it can be any dealers.
yeah. Okay, so I don't want to sound biased, but I do think we've got one of the best value cars up on the market within that price range. And once again, the proof is evident because we've just sold it today.
Oh, really?
Lamborghini Huracan in satin black for £114,900.
114
Yeah.
grand.
I mean, this car should, if it were in the middle of summer, I'd reckon we'd be getting close to 130 for it. And right now, that is a crazy deal to think that this guy is probably going to buy this for 115, hold on to it for the next 6 months. He has got plans of turning it to a twin turbo, doing a twin turbo conversion.
Oh no, he's DMOing it.
But by mid next year,
Wow.
I think the prices of these are going to go up massively.
Okay, I can see this car. So it's a 1464 plate.
Yep.
Done 29,000 miles.
Yep.
At 114,900. That is cheap.
I mean, only a month ago, we were selling cars with 35,000 miles, similar age for 125, 130,000.
That is really
So
good.
that is extremely good value.
In general, though, you are seeing these things drop off quite a bit, right?
Yeah,
the
but
Huracan.
it's not in reflection of the market. It's not in reflection of the Huracan market. It's in reflection of just people may be thinking cars aren't moving, or there's quite a few of these coming out because there's so many Evos being up for offer, or the
is
Tema
there?
Mario coming up.
So I actually think it's more to do with the mileage, right? That actually it's been God knows how long, nearly 10 years since that the Huracan's been out.
Yeah.
And the mileage is now catching up with those 10 years, right? So you've got the average mileage on the first page is around 30,000 miles.
Yeah, I think that shouldn't be reason enough to justify the price losses on these, because you have to remember it's the same engine as the R8, like we just discussed. It's pretty much German built. These cars can easily do 50 or 60,000 miles, but people are getting scared thinking it's got the Lamborghini badge on it. Oh my God, don't touch it. It's got 20,000, above 20,000 miles in it. It's
So
not
we should get a
trustworthy.
decent enough warranty on it. You should be fine, and you're
100%.
maintaining it properly. Then
Yeah.
you should be okay until another, 50, 60,000 miles or whatever, right?
And as an example,
Easy.
this car was serviced every year by Lamborghini. It's got the best maintenance you could ask for.
Yeah.
And it's got no issues. You've got a health check on it. It's actually quite a reliable car. These engines are bulletproof. The gearboxes are bulletproof. The worst that could go wrong with them is stuff like suspension and so on. That's the most costly things that could go wrong.
Yeah.
And pumps. And once again, they're pretty solid.
Okay, guys, on this segment, 2 cars, 3 questions. Can you stop laughing about this? I didn't give it the bloody name.
please?
I didn't give
I
this
can't.
segment this name, but can we, let's, with a straight face, right? 2 cars, 3 questions. Okay, you just cut that out, yeah? Okay. So, C63 Brabus,
Yes.
list,
List price. That listed for about £250,000.
okay, and current?
And now it's up for 95.
Oh my God. And
So-
where do you see future values going?
I mean, look, it's a limited edition C class, so I mean, it has dropped off quite a bit. I don't sort of foresee them going up anymore. I think they probably would stabilize. I mean, they'll probably hit a rock bottom value for them.
And would you own one?
I mean, the problem is, I think it doesn't look too different enough for me to be Brabus. You know, the other car we've got in, the AMG GT63 that came in last week, that looks incredible. And you can tell from a distance it looks like a Brabus. You know, I just don't think the C-Class is too different from a regular C63 enough for me. So unless you open the bonnet, you see it's a Brabus, you know, so that's probably why I wouldn't own it as such. So, yeah.
All right. And grey 488 that we have in stock.
Yes. Great
So
car.
what's the list?
They listed for 200,000 plus. So
And current price?
current price 154,900.
Okay, and where do you see future values going?
Again, the 488s, like the 458s, have
Pretty stable.
stabilized very well. Now I don't see them coming down much more. So I don't think that car's going to be dropping much the next few years. I think
Would
it's
you
going
own
to be around 100%. I love a 488.
George, Urus.
Yeah. So it wasn't the ordinary Urus, it was the Urus 1016.
Okay.
And
One celebrity owner.
Sorry?
One celebrity owner.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard he's amazing, this guy.
Yeah, it's the Asian Tom Cruise, actually.
Yeah. Okay, go on. So Urus 1016.
1016 Urus. List price on the car without any modifications would have been just under £210,000. They were doing overs, so it doesn't include that. And then it had the it had the 1016 body kit with the wheels and the install all together would have come to just under 50,000. So all in all, that car would have set you back just over 250.
250 and current price?
184,900.
What person's put it up for that money,
Do
man?
you know, I was just
Can we just quickly put that car back?
No,
Put that car up.
I just realised you didn't know and you told you the price has gone.
And where do you see future values going? Please don't go any more down.
Future values on these cars. Okay, no. The Urus S's unfortunately have affected the market as a whole. And the Urus S's, there's so many of them and dealers are giving discounts. You can pick them up in the trade for low 200s, which has unfortunately affected the Urus market. However, what makes this so special is the body kit, and it's completely different. You put this alongside a Urus Performante, and people would think the Urus 1016 is worth more money to the non-skilled and non-trade eye.
Yeah.
So I think that is very good value. I don't think they're going to fall much more if the mileage stays the same. I do think they're going to hold on to it for a while, but it all comes down to what's happening with the SE.
Would you own one?
Yeah, I would.
Lexus LFA.
£340,000 was list price on it, and it is now up for sale for just under £1 million, 999,900.
Where do you see future values going?
It's an interesting one. I think they've jumped up so much in the last 5 or 6 years that I do think they're going to be a bit steady for a while, and then probably jump up again once there's a ban on internal combustion engines. I think that's going to be quite a valuable asset.
And then would you own one?
No. I
Why?
can think of much better cars to get for £1 million
Okay.
for the moment.
Honest answer. So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed the episode. And if you did, please like, subscribe and share. Until next time, see you later.